Well, hello and welcome back, my Royal Rogues. My name is Jesus Enrique Rosas. I'm the Royal Rogue. And tonight we have an amazing body language analysis of the Montecito duo in the highest quality photos taken when they were not looking to assess how they really feel when hanging out together. And also a very important statement from Prince William about the Middle East that has ignited a toxic argument online and one picture that resurfaced that I want to, well, discuss. But first, all those times that I have live streamed BBC content that is only available in the UK? That's only possible thanks to today's video sponsor, Private Internet Access, which is my VPN of choice and I've been using for 2 years now. Because the same way that you lock your door so no strangers can get inside your home, a VPN is an app that secures your internet connection so nobody can access or see your information such as your passwords or your location. The feature that I love the most is the ability to access the complete library of streaming services such as Netflix, no matter what country you're in. If you're in the United States, you can access Netflix UK catalog and vice versa. Private internet access is also available in 91 countries and all 50 US states. Now, you know that I've recommended them a few times in all my channels, but now they've got a brand new feature that you're going to love. Now you can use private internet access in an unlimited amount of devices at the same time, just pressing one button. So no matter how many devices you've got at home, your whole family can surf the web protected and safe. With 30 million downloads and more than 8,000 Trustpilot reviews, you can bet private internet access is the best of the best. And using my personal link in the description of this video, you get a special offer of 83% discount. That's just $2 a month, and you also get 4 extra months for free with a 30-day money-back guarantee plus 24/7 customer support. So go get private internet access now. But let's start with Harry, and these two pictures are perhaps one of the most representative of the moments people are discussing online. The first one, the one on the left, is he reacting to Meghan calling his attention. We're going to see Meghan in a minute and what she was doing, but this is the starting point. Maybe you don't see anything wrong with that image to the left, but the first thing that I notice is that Harry looks really tired. Maybe it's the constant traveling everywhere, the busy life of a chief impact officer. But the second one is a different story. I would like to tell you that Harry's face on the right is a normal stance when one is speaking, but the way he's scrunching his nose, tensing his jaw and his lips, you can test it right away. Try to scrunch your nose the same way that Harry is doing it right here, and tell me if you think that's something that you do when you're having a normal conversation. And of course not, because that's an area we don't use that much, even if you were saying the most exaggerated no. But let's put things in context. And this is part of that context. What you're looking at is two faces, because they look alike, but these are two different pictures taken immediately after the interaction that produces Harry's prior facial expression. Even if it's a subtle expression, because we can't really see wrinkles in the Duchess' face, it's not a stretch that she is less than thrilled about the whole exchange, especially because you see her jaw tense and projected forward, something that we have seen her doing in other times of being upset. But even so, you can see that her brow has a hint of anger. There's tension in her brow area, even if you can't see right away. There's something in her eyes that you can just detect by intuition. And to make it even more fascinating, I'm going to cover the lower part of her face so you can see only the brow area and notice that tension. Yeah, the Duchess was upset. But what was happening right before those interactions was this. Meghan was trying to attract Harry's attention with a well-placed double claw on his arm. Now, I don't know about you, but having both hands on Harry's arm and squeezing it that way, well, it's a bit odd, don't you think? But you might think that maybe Meghan was watching something exciting, but as you can confirm in her face at that exact moment, she was completely serious. And yes, her jaw was clenched with that tension that only Meghan can show. So she was really tense in many ways, which of course explains the way Harry turns to see her and his next reaction and facial expression. It's like that time Harry just told Meghan, turn around at dropping the color. Harry was maybe not upset, but those words had consequences. I have no proof, but no doubts either. So imagine that he turns halfway towards Meghan and starts to talk like this. What would you expect is going to happen next? Nada bueno. Harry looked the happiest when he was with Bublé. That is no argument. That is a fact. But the times when he was by himself, he didn't look like he was enjoying much. He was hunching, had his shoulders tense, and had that stare that Harry is already classic for, like a lost child. It doesn't help that he was trying to protect himself, inserting his hands on his pockets, because if he thought that he would look interesting and mysterious, he was far from it. And what is baffling to me is that Meghan could use her acting abilities to not be seen this way, but among all those expressions that we caught in these pictures, there was the silver lining of seeing Beth Herlihy again. Beth, the unusual sidekick of the Harkles, was spotted right on the background as Meghan was thinking of yelling at someone. Now, that picture of Beth was a bit concerning since the first time we saw her was barely 6 months ago when Harry went to that polo game in Singapore. And we could jump to conclusions that over the months, Beth's face could have changed, maybe from stress. We already know of all those claims that of the Sussex Survivors Club, of how hard it can be to work with the Duchess of Sussexes. But lucky for us, sometimes camera angles and lighting can be deceiving because both of these pictures were taken less than 24 hours apart. Yeah, this is the same person, Beth. So it looks like she's enjoying her work, and I'm glad because that means that we will keep seeing more of her in the future. And we will also keep spotting nice Meghan memes about her Nigerian heritage that somehow tends to disappear and appear when it's convenient to her. Or, as I said in my satire blog, her hands tend to miss the memo about the Nigerian part. But we need to talk about some pressing matters, and in this case is a statement released by Kensington Palace from Prince William. I remain deeply concerned about the terrible human cost of the conflict in the Middle East since the Hamas terrorist attack on October 7th. Too many have been killed. I, like so many others, want to see an end to the fighting as soon as possible. There is a desperate need for increased humanitarian support to Gaza. It's critical that aid gets in and hostages are released. Sometimes it is only when faced with the sheer scale of human suffering that the importance of permanent peace is brought home. Even in the darkest hour, we must not succumb to the counsel of despair. I continue to cling to the hope that a brighter future can be found, and I refuse to give up on that. Then a lot of people went all out crazy, threw their hands up in the air, and began claiming that this was some kind of political statement. I did not read any political undertones in his statement. I praise the fact that he calls what happened on October 7th what it was, a terrorist attack. That he wants a ceasefire, which of course takes two to tango, and most importantly, that the much needed aid gets in. And before we go any further, I'm going to quote Richard Palmer. The Foreign Office briefed Downing Street on the statement before it was issued. I understand. Why is this important? Under a constitutional monarchy, members of the royal family need to be reflecting government policy on contentious issues such as the Israel-Palestine conflict. So even if he is focusing on the humanitarian side of the conflict, it's not that William had gone full rogue and acted carelessly with such a topic. And this is regardless anyone's stance on this. My only suggestion is that one should always separate governments such as the Israeli government and Hamas, who are the ones in control of Palestine right now, from the general population who might or might not agree with what their leaders are doing, from the most vulnerable of all, which are the children of both sides, because that's the innocence we have to protect at all costs, and the ones who deserve exactly zero of what is going on around them. And I praise Prince William for speaking about these matters. But I'd like to quote Taz on this one. I'm sorry, but I do not think Prince William has overstepped or is being political. This is being human. He's saying what many of us are thinking, and I'm glad he mentioned October 7th. Too many people are washing over that day. I am also glad he's mentioned more humanitarian support is needed in Gaza, because it is, and the hostages need to be released back to their families. He is not choosing one side or the other. He is expressing the need for peace. To say nothing at all, or to be silent, or to ignore what is happening is far worse. To say goodbye with a lighter tone, Mr. Harriman reshared the picture he took of Meghan at One Young World, the one that you can see on the left. And he's quite proud of that one for a reason that honestly escaped my comprehension. And I couldn't help but compare it with that picture of Catherine at the Earshot Prize a couple years ago. How would you caption this, my rogues? As usual, I would love to know what do you think about this in the comments. And don't forget to download my free 100 body language tips in the description of this video if you want to read anyone like a book. My name is Jesus Enrique Rosas. I'm the Royal Rogue. And remember, much love and bliss.